Perfect. Um, Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday. We are here again. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Um, we had a fun weekend. Um, I don't know, Emily, I feel like you can introduce it this week because it's gonna be you and Taylor and AJ doing a lot of talking tonight.
Mm-hmm. We just got back from North Carolina from District 12, so it was an adventure for sure. I mean, I had a great time. Um, I would love to go back too, but it was awesome. So we went for the Onset Cinema event, which was at Henry River Mill Village. Am I saying that right? I have to think about it and say it slowly every time. um, at Henry River Mill Village, and they showed the Hunger Games movie. And I went with my sister. We went a couple of days early and kind of went around that area of Asheville and Charlotte to kind of see some other Hunger Games things and do some Hunger Games things. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, so the event was like the onset cinema event was on Saturday night, right?
Mhm.
So they did a showing of the Hunger Games. What were your thoughts on seeing, because you saw Katniss's house, the bakery, like Peta's bakery. What else did you see? And like what were your thoughts on seeing it in real life?
I mean, it was really cool. It was nice to see how everything was laid out, I guess, because you see pictures of like Peta's bakery and Katniss's house and that shot of where she's like running behind the houses and like the dam and all that, but you don't really know how it's laid out and like everything in relation to each other. So that was cool to just like be there and kind of see where everything is because you always have this like idea I feel like of in your mind what it's gonna look like, and it's not wasn't exactly like what I thought, but it was cool seeing what it actually looked like.
Mm-hmm. So how, like, I don't know much about the like physical land, I guess. So like for example, when we went to Forks last year, like you can only tell somebody like what it looks like or kind of like how far apart everything is. I really have no idea about Henry River Mill. So like are all these locations very close to each other? Are they like within like walking distance, or how did it all work?
Yeah, everything that they used for filming is super close together. So like the village is a lot bigger. I didn't realize how close it was to like a main road, but there's a main road that goes through the village, and on either side there are the rundown houses from the village. So we could drive like we drove through it. Actually, when we first got there, my sister was driving and she drove through it and it was kind of fast, and it was like, "Oh wait, we're here. We're actually passing the houses." So we had her, poor Laura, but whatever. She was a good sport. She did everything that I asked her to do. And
Oh,
we went back and forth kind of driving along the street a couple of times just so we could, get a feel for driving through District 12, blasting some Hunger Games music, some Maya Win. um, so that was cool. And then so Peta's Bakery and Katniss's house are literally right across the street from each other. And like by street, it's like just like a little dirt like path that you
oh.
walk through. So they're right next door, which I thought was kind of funny because obviously in like the movie, they're not really like supposed to be that close together. But like you could just, wave a Peta from Katniss's house.
Oh.
So that was funny.
When Peter said, "I watched you go home every day."
Oh,
He had a
it
very
wouldn't it
easy
wouldn't be
job.
that hard, yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. So, what would I want to know what everyone's favorite part of the event was? It doesn't even have to be the event, but I guess favorite part of your time in North Carolina was.
If I could be emo, just being with everyone,
Aww.
but also being able like Also, just as a tidbit, Taylor, Emily, Laura, and I, we stayed in the cabin that they had renovated overnight, and which was awesome on its own thing. But then the next morning, Sunday morning, like everyone who had stayed to camp out in the tents were already gone, and for like, I don't know, a couple hours, we were probably the only people that were still there, other than like the hosts and like owners of the property. And
Oh
so
wow.
we took more pictures Sunday morning, and we literally had District 12 to ourselves.
Yeah, that was
That's
I
cool.
mean,
cool.
that was very cool. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And we took a lot of pictures. Well, I took a lot of pictures. You know how I am. It was
Well,
bad.
what was your favorite part, Emily?
My favorite part, I was just thinking about this right before we started. And I mean, meeting everybody, like that is awesome. But we were up super late on Saturday night after the movie had ended, and we were like kind of talking to people afterwards. And I think it was like, I don't know, around 1 a.m. that we were back in the room, kind of like, okay, like, we're gonna go to bed. What are we gonna do? And then I was talking to Brian, who's Panem Archives on Instagram. And he's the one who had the collection there of all the like costumes and props. And I was DMing with him and, asking how things went and stuff. And he mentioned that he had really wanted to have time at the event to like teach people how to do the wedding dance from Mockingjay Part 2 for
Oh,
from the wedding scene. Or is that Part 1? Is that Part 1 or Part 2? Well, it's one of them. But so he was like, "Oh, you guys can come over and we can have a little, dance party in Katniss's house, District 12 style." I was like,
oh,
"Oh, should we go? Should we go over there?" It was super late. We were super tired, but I was like, "That sounds super fun." Like, we didn't really get a chance to talk to Brian that much because he was, so busy with his collection and everything and having people come through. So we went over there, and Brian like put on some music, and there were four of us, which was like the right number of people for the dance, and he like showed us how to do it, and we did it a couple times. And that was just, it was super fun. I don't know, that was a really cool, fun moment, I think, like unexpected too. So I thought that was really fun.
that's awesome. Do you have videos of it? Like, I want to see the
No,
videos.
we don't.
And Taylor, what was your favorite moment or experience from the trip?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, sorry. I have to use my headphones that my cats chewed on, so sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. My favorite part obviously was getting to meet AJ and Emily's sister. That was so fun. They're the
Mhm.
sweetest people. And also, when I first pulled in, I like didn't notice it at first, but then when I saw Pita's Bakery, my mouth just like dropped open. And the whole time we were there, every time we walked past it, I was just like, I can't stop staring at this building. It's so amazing. So I loved seeing that. And then I just loved the whole, like just the whole being there, and just like, this is District 12. And then seeing the movie and staying in that cabin, that was amazing. I just loved it. So shout out to Holly. Thank you so much, Holly, for allowing me to do that. Stay in that cabin. That was amazing.
I'm so glad that you got to
You
go.
too, thank you until I die.
It's okay. I loved your live. I love looking at all the pictures of you guys having like, it's just so cute, and it made my heart so happy to see. So
Yeah, I wish you were there. I wish we were all there.
no. Well, I'm glad that oh my god.
Are you good?
Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah, Max just knocked over my table, but it's fine. I was just gonna say that I'm happy that Emily still wants to go back there because I made the joke that Emily always tries out places for me. And so if you'll go back, that'll make me happy so that we can go back someday.
Yeah, I feel like, see, now I've been there and I know how to plan a even better trip this time.
Yes.
So
Emily,
And
is
there's
also-
things we didn't see and didn't do. So yeah, I definitely would like to go back.
So what happened with the arena? It was like you and Laura had gone, but it was
Yeah, so we got there on Thursday morning. We had a red eye flight, so we were super tired. The first day we just focused on we flew into Charlotte and getting to where we were staying, which was near DuPont State Forest, which is where they filmed that forest and a forest like next to it. They filmed pretty much all the arena stuff from the movie. And it was raining really hard on Thursday. It had been raining for days before, a lot. I was really nervous that it was going to be raining on like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, especially Saturday when we were there. Thankfully, it was like beautiful weather on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, it was fine, but because of all the rain, the water in the river and everything, it was, I don't know, I would say probably like 4 times more water than it was, just like raging than like you would see in like in the pictures from that like Josh and Jen are in that like one spot by the waterfall when she finds PETA. So it was a bummer because the stairs going down to see that spot were closed, and we didn't know it was going to be closed till we got there. So that was disappointing, and that was like probably that day the main thing I had wanted to see and was excited about. But I mean, we still had a lot of fun. We took so many pictures and like video and stuff. And it was cool seeing, we still could see Triple Falls, the waterfall, from kind of higher up. But yeah, we didn't get to see like that iconic spot like where she finds PETA. So that was disappointing.
oh,
But it was still cool. I mean,
you're still
still
there.
happy. Yeah, I'm still happy we went early and like could see everything. It was so beautiful, like DuPont State Forest. It reminded me a lot. I'm just not used to being places where it's really green and lush. So it reminded me a lot of like the Pacific Northwest too, and like Forks and Twilight. And but instead of the moss covering all the trees, it was just like a lot of foliage. But it was really pretty.
Aw. And you went ziplining? That I was jealous
We
of.
did, yeah. Saturday morning we went a little bit north of Asheville. We went ziplining with the same tour company that like the cast of the Hunger Games went to. So that was super fun. We got some really like gorgeous views of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which you can see in shots of the Hunger Games. And it was really cool. I'd never been ziplining before, but I love that sort of stuff. So it was really fun. There was like one really long zip line. I think we went like 65 miles an hour, I think they said on it. And we were on one zip line above like the tree line. So there weren't like trees like whizzing past us. So it was almost a feeling of like, I don't know, like weightlessness in the air above the trees, kind of, because you can't even tell. It feels like you're not even moving because you don't see like the trees, whipping past you.
Oh my
So
god,
yeah, it was really cool.
that's sweet. Would you all go to the event again, or what were your thoughts on the like actual event for any one of you three?
I mean, like Emily said, now that we know what to expect, I think it's easier to plan for it. I flew in on Saturday morning to fly out Sunday. So like I was there for 48 hours. And if I could like do it again, I would definitely want to go at least one day longer, because that was just kind of a quick turnaround and like just a little bit tiring to do all of that at once like that. But as far as the actual event, definitely. We got to speak to Kenny, who was like, I guess the guy who does the on-set cinema events. And he was talking about, adding or changing a few things. Like, what was it that he said he wanted to add? I mean, I know we talked about the dancing thing. That's
I
more
think he
Ryan's thing.
said he would like to make it start earlier and have like a dinner.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and like we suggested even like, like having some kind of band or like music thing. Um, yeah, and so I mean, I know that he's interested in expanding the event slightly, so that should be good. Um, he did tell us that Lionsgate made it very complicated to do stuff. So there
Yeah.
is that. Because when we were chatting with him, like it seemed like he had a bunch of ideas for stuff, and it was more like sounded like Lionsgate was posing more obstacles than like anything else. But yeah, I mean, I hope that by the time next year rolls around, and like even if it's around the same time of year, like in the spring, early summer, Ballad will be coming out later in the year. He did say he wanted to do it again in the fall. I think next year is what he was saying.
Okay. Yeah, because they did
And
2 events last year, didn't they?
yeah, because he was kind of like surprised that like there was still 160 people that showed up, but he was surprised that like it didn't sell out like it did last time. And I was like, well, I mean, you picked Memorial Weekend, so like,
Yeah.
you're
Fair.
competing with a lot of things here. But I mean, if he had done it like a week earlier or a week later or something, maybe it could have been different. But I hope that with the hype of Ballad that will, come around, hopefully, um, it could become a bigger event or something.
Hmm.
I definitely want to go back though. Uh, yeah, I mean it's the Hunger Games. Why would I turn that down?
See, I mean, like, I'm gonna talk about this because I always do. Like, Twilight has the Forever Twilight and Forks event every fall. And I mean, that's been going on for as like over a decade. And I'm just like, it would be like I haven't been yet. Like I'm going this year, but I mean, from what I see, it's like everybody gets to meet each other. It's like you have fun fandom events all weekend revolving around like a favorite fandom. And like what I would give to have that translate over to something I care so much about, like the Hunger Games. And more so than just making it a one night event, like I wish that they could do something similar to FTF. But then again, it's like you have Forks where Twilight is based in, so obviously like that's the mecca, whereas with Pan Am, you can go to like North Carolina, the filming site. But again, I think it would be so fun to be able to do a big event like that.
Yeah, I think so too. Even more so after going there now, I just feel like I could see a larger scale event so well in my mind. So like I can envision it, and I think it would be so cool. And just thinking about the things that it could be done there, and how close the filming locations are for like DuPont Forest, where they did the arena scenes, and people could go to Hickory and also go there. Um, yeah, it's a bummer that there isn't anything. I think with Twilight, it's a little bit easier just because Forks is a real place. It's a real thing. And so
Yeah.
like they can sell like Forks t-shirts and sweatshirts and like merch and stuff. And nobody can fight them on that because those
Yeah.
are real things. They're real people in a real place. So anything related to Hunger Games is going to be specifically Hunger
Online.
Games and like copyrighted. So I don't know. It's tough. I still just don't understand why Lionsgate is one way with one franchise and one way with the other one. But
Yeah.
It seems like the Hunger Games is like the least favorite child of Lionsgate. It's either like they're super protective of it or they just really like resent it or something. Like it just seems like there's no middle ground when it comes to Lionsgate and fan excitement, fan involvement. Because it's not even just like this, like a gathering or con or festival or whatever you want to call it. because you could say like, oh yeah, they just want a financial cut of it, or they want to be in control of it. But yeah, I mean, it's not the first time that Lionsgate has like been, I don't know how like what the word would be, but I guess just discouraging.
Mm-hmm.
And then verging on threatening, like we saw with Maya's music and
Yeah,
stuff. And
they put their foot down every time.
yeah, and that's unfortunate, and especially like for the village, like they were saying that they didn't want to return, the people who owned the property at the time of filming didn't want filming to return there because they didn't want like the big publicity and stuff and whatever, which I understand. And I mean, Hickory is a like relative to the US, right? It's a small place, and I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it's so hard because
like,
a place like Forks really embraced it, whereas Hickory didn't seem to want to. I mean, we don't know the details of it, but
I
what
think
was
it's
going
also
on.
like, I mean, I was thinking about this earlier today, because like the village is like it's like a historic site. It's been cataloged in like archives and stuff, like for historic locations in the US, not just as a filming location, but like historic to the United States. And like 160 people is like somewhat easy to manage, but like a bigger event, they would have to do so much to make sure that it was safe for everyone, to make sure that no one was damaging the property, because they mentioned that like some people have been like throwing in like rocks and windows and like being weird and not cool and stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel like if it were to get too big, because they're trying to protect it, like there's a nonprofit that every dollar you spend in the village returns back to the village. It goes towards preserving it and maintaining it and stuff. And I feel like if they were to make it any bigger than it is, I mean, like maybe like going up to 200 people or even 300 people, but even I feel like 300 people would be a lot in that place, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Just because it is actually quite small, like it's all walking distance, and there's only like that one cabin that's renovated. I think they plan on renovating a couple more, but it's still like pretty small. And I feel like if they wanted to do a multi-part day, like a multi-day like con or festival or something, I just think like infrastructure wise it would be a little bit difficult for them to handle, whereas Forks is like a town that like people live in like already, and like it already has that infrastructure built in, I feel like, maybe.
Right. I mean, Hickory's close. I don't know how big Hickory is. It definitely seems smaller than Forks. Like Forks at least has like 2 motels or 3 motels.
And I'm like, how small are we looking here?
Yeah, I'm not really sure like how it compares.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. See, I'm somebody who like until I see it, I can't picture it, and I'm big on picturing things because it helps like me to understand a certain situation before I go into it. And so for me, it's like
little like maps that they had at the entrance.
Mm.
I'll send you a picture of it.
Yes. Exactly. That would help calm my anxiety about a trip I'm not even on.
I just Googled it, and Hickory is about 40,000 people. So it's a lot bigger than Forks. So I don't know if it's just like more spread out, like land-wise, or I mean, we didn't really see that much of Hickory.
I think it is kind of spread out, because I know when I was driving home, I like drove not a long way, but it was maybe like 10 miles, 5 or 10 miles, and there were still signs for like Hickory, like other parts of it. So
I don't know if there's more land because it's like farming.
Yeah, because I was kind of surprised. I was like, wait a second, I'm not really that like close to where we just left, but it still says Hickory on these signs. So
yeah,
even just like if the actual town of Hickory or whatever is bigger, the actual like Henry River Mill Village, like if that would be like one of the main parts of like this hypothetical festival, like I was thinking of, like when we were taking photos and stuff together right before the event and then Sunday morning, like it was really nice to not have a bunch of people around because you could really take your photos and not worry about someone walking into your shot,
Right.
And I know that we were there because we had the cabin, so we had early and late access to the place. But even like when, people were let in, because it was still like 2 hours before they let people in, and then the movie wasn't shown until like 2 hours later. So you could still walk around, like you had time to walk around and take photos. And even with like the 160 people that were there, it seemed like it was definitely possible to get photos and stuff without a bunch of people crowding you or getting in your shot. And I feel like, if they make it bigger, does the quality of the experience decrease, like in that sense? Because I feel like it is kind of nice that we had it more on the low key side. I wish that they were allowed to do more like within the event that they already have, I guess is like where I would lean towards. Like if they could put Mockingjays on stuff, or like, if they could like, call it District 12 night or something, or you know what I mean? Like if they could acknowledge it more directly within what they already have, I think that would be better. But because I don't know. I mean, I liked that we could just mosey around and
I almost am
stroll.
like, I think it would be nice to visit not for the Hunger Games event.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't really a tour. So that was kind of a bummer. Like, and there was also more of the village, like, I mean, just more rundown houses, but like on the other side of the street. And like, I would have liked to explore more of it and walk around a little bit more than just kind of like that one central spot that had the Hunger Games related buildings.
And they did explain that like there are like tours of the entire property for a certain price, and then for us they were going to give us like a discounted rate because we were there for the event. But they did tell us like, what time did we initially get there? It was like 4 or something.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, our last tour of the entire property just
like
happened.
4:30.
Yeah. But so we're closing it down because then we have the event and stuff, and then for the event it was like y'all can stay in this like kind of designated area that the event takes place at. But during that time, it didn't feel like we could go explore the entire property. And so I see what you're saying, Emily. Like you could almost go like let's say they have it again next year on a Saturday. You could get there like on a Thursday, and then like Friday you go in to do like a tour of the entire property unrelated to Hunger Games, and then you come back for the Hunger Games event or something.
Yeah, because I personally would have loved to learn more about the history.
It was like, I have to say, I was impressed or surprised, I guess, with how interesting I found it. I know that sounds bad, but like I'm not like a history fanatic or anything, so I was like, I mean, it's cool, whatever fun facts I learned along the way are cool, but I really didn't expect to be as impressed about it as I ended.
Yeah, I think I like to know, rather than just being there and like being a fan and like getting my picture, I mean, which we did, and it's cool. I want to know like, where am I? Like, I don't know, like what is the history of this place that I'm at? Like, because this is a real place, and I like to appreciate that, and I feel like I couldn't fully. I really liked and did not expect when we got to the cabin, and I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, I mean, maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention, but it was the owner's mother, I think, that led us into the cabin and gave us a tour and talked us through like the design and like every room and all of the different pieces and how they did the renovation of the cabin, which was super cool. I was like, dang it, I should have gone live for this.
Especially like had this recorded. Of like HGTV or Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Oh yeah, that's that's me. So
shows. Same. Yeah, I mean, there were so many parts that were from an old like insane asylum and like random other places.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
there's also like tributes to the original owners of the homes, which I think is really great. Like there was that one, like the where we were staying, because it's like a duplex, so it's cut into 2 units. But the unit we were staying in, there was a lot of buttons around the house because the person who lived there, was it that she made buttons? I can't remember. It was
I
like
think
She said
so.
like
she
her thing.
strung buttons,
Or
which I don't really know what
strung
that
Oh,
means.
yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, buttons. And then there was this little like checkerboard coffee table thing where the actual like checker game pieces were red and black buttons, and like little things like that were.
And the table was made from a cello. Like it was all
Mhm.
upcycled stuff. And there was stuff they found on the property. Like they made a mirror out of a thing that goes around a barrel to close a barrel, and just all this cool stuff. There was a that little sack, the like grain sack that they had found that
Oh, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
had painted on, and just all kinds of stuff. The lady's punch card for where she worked. It was just really cool. They had all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah, they had the light at the entrance was a cool like focal point, I guess, in the entryway. It was a piece of wood that they found under the house that was kind of supporting it. So they turned that into like a cool kind of chandelier type
Oh,
thing
yeah,
in the
yeah,
front. They found like old wallpaper on the walls,
my
and then
God.
they replicated
Matched
that.
it.
So they found the design on that, and then they had actual full wallpaper designed based off of that design that they found. So there's like basically the original look of the wallpaper in the bathroom, I think. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
The bathrooms were were huge.
They had a theme. It was like the something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. And so there's 4 bathroom totals in the whole house, and each of them had one of those themes.
Yeah, I think
Which is
they're
kinda
leaning
cool.
into the wedding thing because they do have weddings there. And I mean, it makes sense that they needed at least one cabin to start with for like, people to stay if they're like the bride and groom in the wedding, or, the family or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There was
how
that
cool would
little
it be to
piece
get
that looked-
married in District 12?
There was that little piece by our cabin that looked like it was from a window or something, or some kind of entryway. and
Yeah, it looked like a
that was
window
what they used as an
frame,
altar.
like it used to have stained glass in it or something. It reminded me of a church's window frame from like old churches.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there was anything else.
The bakery, they're gonna try to redo that and make it like an actual functioning restaurant where you can go in and have like Mellark
Yeah, he said-
themed
yeah.
food.
Awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet.
That'd be so
'Cause
cool.
that definitely seems like, because right now it's basically just an empty building, and it's the exterior that's what the
It had a little
eye-catching
tree
part
growing
about
on
it.
top of it.
Well, here's the thing, like you have to think people would pay for that. I mean, people would travel to see that. And especially, I mean, with the movie coming out in the next year and a half, like there's going to be a lot of hype behind the Hunger Games, so you might as well take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah. Make that coin.
Yeah, hopefully people go and stay in the cabin that they renovated, because I feel like that's probably going to be an indicator for them of whether, how much they renovate other cabins or how much they actually end up doing. I think they said they wanted to build a museum there too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. See, that gives me Forks vibes.
Right?
Yeah.
So they could have a museum, and then they could have one little section that has like costumes and props from the Hunger Games. I could see it.
I
Just
would
like
just move
Forks.
down there.
I want to like be a docent at the Hunger Games Museum.
And really, like travel wise too, it's so easy to get to. It's pretty much right off the interstate. So I feel like, once
It's
they've
like
renovated some more
55 minutes
cabins
from like the Charlotte airport, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to travel to.
Asheville.
So if they like get several more cabins and get a museum, like it's really a not difficult place to get to.
Way easier to get to than Forks.
Yeah.
It has that going for it.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I mean, Forks is like a 4-hour drive from Seattle.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. If it was
'Cause-
easier to get to, I would be going there way more often, but I'm not driving 4 hours by myself.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean-
4 hours, that's almost how much I drove just to get to Hickory, like for the whole thing. Took me like 5 hours, I think, total.
Wow. You live
Because I
that
was gonna
close.
say, like, Hickory is like an hour away from Charlotte, or yeah, from Charlotte, and then it's also an hour away from Asheville. So it's like if you're flying in, you have two airport options that are like equidistant. The only thing would be like to get from the airport to Hickory. Like for me, like I don't drive, so luckily, I had friends that were driving.
Right. But I could do that drive. I mean, I could drive an hour from like Asheville or whatever. So
So I can only go if I have someone with me who knows how to drive, aka you. You're not designated.
Which
like,
Asheville is
I
probably
also-
the better airport, just because it's close to, like, well, if you want to do the zip line, but also
It's
DuPont
also
State
really
Forest.
close. Yeah, I also didn't realize how close it was to Appalachian State University. And I feel like with college age people, like that's like Hunger Games is really popular among college age. And it's only like, I think, an hour away from there too. So it's got all these places that are so close to it that you can, I don't know, like really either hype it up or like people can get there really easily. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a good location. There's a lot of things to do. Hunger Games related or not, like around the area if you're into outdoor stuff. Or not even like the cities like Charlotte or Asheville.
How did people you said that people left early in the morning from camping, but did you know anyone who was camping or what their thoughts were on it?
Yeah, we got to meet Lexi, who is at Rue's Legacy on Instagram. She was there with her friend, and that was really cool. It was kind of funny because like when people were being checked in, I was like, I think that's her, but obviously like I've never met her in person until then, so I was like, what if it's not her? Like I don't want to be like, how do you approach that, So when the time came for like the movie screening to actually begin, she was sitting right by where we had put up our blankets and chairs and stuff. And so I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go over there. And I was like, hey.
Good job, AJ. I didn't get to say hi. I don't know what happened.
I think because there was like a few people there. There was Wiley who came up, I think, sometime around that time.
That must have been what happened because we started talking about stuff that he made.
Yeah, but Lexi was like, I thought it was you guys. I was just shy. And I was like, okay, I'm glad that like we're both like
everybody's just shy. Yeah.
Was a takeaway from the weekend. Everyone's shy except that it's the Hunger Games, so muster up your courage, everyone.
Yeah, just go for it. Like everybody's there loving the same thing.
And like I had bought a copy of the Hunger Games, like a used one, on eBay to bring specifically to this event because I wanted to have people sign it like a yearbook. It was really sweet. I had obviously Taylor and Emily and Laura sign it, and then Lexi and Brian, and then friend Lily also signed it.
Aww, that's so sweet.
It's cute. And so I think, I mean, not that there's a Hunger Games event, whether it be in Hickory or elsewhere, every other weekend, but I think I'm just gonna keep bringing this book to like various things.
You are
really
so cute.
That's exactly what I did at the Twilight event. I brought a copy of Twilight and had everybody sign it.
Wait, that's such a cute idea. I saw who was sitting at our wedding table at dinner. She had brought like a book.
Megan?
Yeah, she had brought her Twilight copy for everyone to sign.
Shannon?
It wasn't Shannon, no.
It was Megan.
Yeah. So it was just so sweet. Like you guys are so smart to be thinking about things like that. Like I would just be like, hey, how's it going? And then be on my way.
I'm literally making a photo album right now.
This is why
Me and my 1,000 photos that I took this
I
weekend.
had to sift through everything earlier, and out of
Aw.
like 350, I narrowed it down to 90, and I found this photo book in like this bookshelf that we have here, and I was like, I hope all these fit in here. Guess we'll find out.
Oh. Well, that's sweet. I'm so glad that you all had fun. I loved seeing all the content. I can't wait to see more of it.
I'm
So-
gonna have to narrow it down. I had like 1,000 photos.
So
I narrowed
much.
it down to like 320 ones that I actually like, I think. And so I can't post 320 photos. So we'll see. Maybe
Not
like
that
50.
attitude.
I think it was you on the live, AJ, who said like I need to get as much content as possible.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yes.
mean, that's like I learned my lesson in Vegas because so I went and originally I was only going to go to the exhibition on one day because I
Mhm.
figured that would be enough. But I was too like shy and I felt too awkward about like being there by myself and like filming and taking photos and stuff. Even though there was like nobody because it was literally Easter Sunday. But I don't know. It was like the first time I'd ever done anything like that. And then I went home, like back to my hotel room, and I was like looking through my photos, and I was like, I like them, but I don't know. I feel like I could have done more with it. I didn't take enough like close-up
Yeah.
shots of costumes and whatever. And I was like, screw it. Like I'm only here for a certain amount of time. Like I'm gonna make sure I get the most of it, you know, or make the most of it. And so I went back the second day, and then at that point I really didn't care. I was like, screw it. If anyone wants to judge me for it, like that's their problem. It's not mine. And so I went back, and then same thing with like when I saw when I went to go see Espèce de Brexa in France in last winter. I was like, we gotta make it quick, but so I'm just gonna take all the videos, all the pictures. Like we'll sort through them later on, but yeah, I needed to have as much as possible.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be posting pictures from this weekend for the next like year.
Yeah, I'm still posting stuff from Vegas. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I'm still posting stuff from well, I mean, I guess it hasn't been a year, but I'm gonna get to Forks again before I finish in September, before I finish posting all of the things that I took last September. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully people don't get sick of the posted pictures all from the same weekend. But
You know what I tell myself, because I wonder the same thing sometimes, and I'm like, but I have new followers since I went originally, and
yeah,
they're
true.
not necessarily going to scroll back through like 500 posts to be like, oh yeah, AJ went to this one place 3 years ago. Like, no, keep posting that shit.
Good point, AJ.
I got you.
I'm trying to
Yeah,
think
I
if
have a
there was
habit-
anything else. Or oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I have a habit of printing photos of stuff I go to because I don't know why I am like this, but I have this like weird fear that one day the iCloud will just crash and I will lose everything. And so I
my
just have
gosh.
printed copies of my favorite things. Not to like unlock new fears for people, but like maybe consider that. just in case. CVS right now has a 40% off code until June 4th. If you want to get your photos printed, highly recommend that.
Not
They have
sponsored.
codes like no, not sponsored. But they have codes. I'm just speaking as someone who prints a lot of photos at CVS. They have codes somewhat frequently, so you could always do it in like different ways, but still. It's just some food for thought.
Well, sweet. Anything else about this weekend? Because I mean, I don't want to miss anything. I'm here
I mean,
for all the
I
stories.
love seeing Brian's collection too.
Oh
Seeing
yeah.
some of those costumes in person. I mean, because I haven't been to the exhibition, so I haven't really ever seen anything besides the red Mockingjay suit is the only thing I've ever seen in person up to now. So it was cool
Currently
seeing
at the
costumes.
exhibition.
Oh, it is? Oh yeah.
Yep.
You mentioned that it is.
It's right outside. It's the only costume that you can see.
You can
without
see the
actually
back.
entering.
Right?
You can see the back of it. It's in a 360 glass display case, and it is right by where the elevator is.
Okay. It's probably in the
'cause-
same display case that it was when I saw it at the Four
Probably.
Film Collection Marathon.
Yeah, they have it right by the elevator because the exhibition you have to go down a flight of escalators in the MGM Grand Hotel, and there's an elevator right next to it, and it's stationed right out there. There's also like a display case with some like merchandise in it, and yeah, it's like the one thing you can see without actually going inside the exhibition. So, fun fact: if you're in Vegas and you don't have time or can't go to the exhibition for whatever reason, you can see that one outside. So,
Pro tip.
Pro tip: free Hunger Games costume sighting.
Go, go, go.
One random thing about North Carolina that I was really disappointed that we didn't get to do because a local told us about it, not Hunger Games related, but apparently there are these blue ghost fireflies that appear the last week of May and the first week of June,
Well,
just south of Asheville area, kind of like in the deep forest, and they're special fireflies because they're blue and they emit light for like up to a minute instead of just kind of like flickering on really fast. So, and they do like tours to see them, but everything was like booked out after a local told us about it, and we were kind of bummed. But it sounded really cool.
Now you know.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Asheville around the same time, blue ghost fireflies.
that's sweet. Well, I guess there's something else we can talk about tonight.
I was gonna say, are we?
Yeah.
We might as well.
Everyone feeling about the rumor that is going around
No,
Lucy Gray?
Yeah, Jerry, Tina, let's hear from you guys.
Yes.
no, no,
Okay.
no.
Let's explain what's going on, and then we'll get Tina and Jerry's thoughts. So right now, there is a rumor spreading like a wildfire through the fandom, saying that is it Rachel
Zegler. Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
is
okay.
is
Oh,
Lucy-
maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Rachel
matter.
Z. Rachel
I
with
think
a
that's
Z.
right.
It is going around the fandom. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up my receipts real quick.
A spark is fine as long as it's contained.
Oh my goodness.
So
Preach it.
apparently there is a trusted source. Of
It's
course,
not a trusted source, but
obviously not. Saying that they know that Rachel has been cast. What was it posted on Just Jared? So looking very positive.
That's not the first place it was posted.
isn't it
was
like robot
some other
something?
random-
Giant robot something.
yeah.
I feel like
And
it's not a
apparently-
reputable source.
No, apparently they've done this before where they've like quote unquote confirmed something that turned out to be incorrect later on. So yeah. But
So
there's the other quote unquote evidence that has been
Yes.
found so far. So
yeah. So Rachel tweeted saying, "Listen up, ... Can y'all grow restfully? Are you becoming an individual resting decisively? And if you
it's
take
weird.
the first letter of each
If
word,
you could tell me what that means, I'll give
Right?
you
I love the people who
I'll
are
give you
responding to it and like actually posting something like thoughtful about it's like what
what?
are you saying?
It adds up to LucyGrayBaird, Lucy Gray Baird. So it's like people are really honing in on that as well, which
what's the ... for?
exactly.
Yeah.
You didn't need that. Which I'm like, but it's also like,
Well,
what are the odds that those words like match up that way?
Oh, there's
and
no
that the
odds.
sentence
It's
is crazy.
intentional for sure.
No, I know.
But
No, I know.
Because this doesn't make any sense what she's saying in terms of the statement. So
Leave your own
everyone
restfully, get out here.
So weird.
everyone is saying that Rachel is cast as Lucy Gray, which I'm not happy about. But Tina, let's hear your thoughts on it. Besides your sigh. What are your thoughts about this potential casting?
I low-key want to blame Emily and AJ for their quote unquote
Oh my
detective
God.
work. Their
Listen,
detective
Oh, no.
work that I completely invested in, and so now I refuse to let go the
Tell me about it.
possibility of Moana. I mean, and I don't know, I've never really seen her acting, but just judging from that one screenshot of her in that play or
Snow
whatever it
White.
was. Yeah, I was like, that's her. And now it's like, oh, it's not her.
Eesh.
Jerry, go ahead.
I liked her in I liked her in West Side Story.
Yes, Jerry, thank you.
There's not really her acting wasn't like she was the main character, but we didn't really see her really act, mainly sing. But I don't know. I don't know. I was looking forward to what you guys were saying last week about I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Moana. I was really looking forward for that. But yeah, I'm optimistic.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I wanted to say this before I forget. So I don't know who was telling me. I think it was Dearest Mockingjay. I think it was Nicole telling me that she's got theater girl vibes, and I was like, no.
She is such
She's
a
a
theater
theater-
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I feel like
the
that
bane of my
actually-
existence.
I feel like that works for Lucy Gray.
Yeah.
I think she's so
No.
theatrical. Like I feel like that's her vibe.
But Lucy Gray was like a cool theater kid, which it doesn't exist actually, but
Hey,
Um,
hey,
True.
hey.
oh really? Were you though?
Wait,
Were you?
I'm such a
Sorry,
theater
sorry.
kid.
Emily was
I
a
feel
theater
so attacked. Like the
Emily.
last 24 hours.
Okay, well, maybe
Thanks so
Arizona
much
theater
right
kids
now.
are cool, but the ones that I went to school with, they
Yeah.
would belt out like just tunes in the halls, full of
Tunes.
themselves.
Oh, well, I
Really
can't
green.
sing, so there's my problem.
Okay, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
But
just
if I had a
belting
voice,
out.
you bet I would be annoying everybody.
I did
They're
not
not even
see Emily
good.
be a theater kid. I did not see that happening.
That's like a plot twist of the century.
Yeah, literally.
What?
Yeah.
I have so
That
many
explains
surprises.
No,
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but
That's why she defends
no.
Lynn.
You guys are so mean.
Okay, well,
I
if it
love
makes
them,
you
though.
feel better. Well, sorry, Jared, what?
I just I like them, so I'm with
Hey,
you
no
there.
defending Lynn. No Lynn defending here.
Emily, if it makes you feel better, I was not a theater kid, but when Frozen came out, I made it everyone's problem. All right. So, like, was I belting out the entire Frozen soundtrack at school with my friend? Yes, I was. Did anyone ask us to do that? Absolutely not. But, you know, we had it like broken down into parts. Like, I
No.
would do the Hans and Elsa parts, and then my friend would do Anna, and then like any other like higher note stuff. If that makes sense. So, yeah,
That's
it's
enough.
fine.
I feel like Frozen's the
Fucking
one
off.
exception. Frozen's the one exception because it's animated. I don't want to see an actual person. I don't know. It just it
I don't want to see an actual
it
person.
gets
I
to
want to
me.
take that out of context.
It gets to me. And if it makes you feel better, Emily, my boyfriend's a theater kid and I roast him every single day for it. He's
Yeah,
like,
my
you're never gonna let this go. I'm like, I'm not. I bully him every day, so it's okay.
See, I love her so much for the theater energy. I
No.
mean, she was so good. I've watched YouTube clips of her as in the Shrek musical.
What?
In her high school
What?
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was when she was cast for West Side Story, her one request was but before I start filming, can I please like finish my high school like senior musical, which was Shrek the Musical. Yeah. And she was Princess
Really?
Fiona.
Oh my god.
She was so good.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I like her. I liked her in West Side
She's
Story.
great.
Okay,
And
West Side Story is one thing. Shrek the Musical, a high school production, is another.
Well, if you had seen the Sutton Foster performance and then you see her performance, like she's very good. Okay, trust me.
I'm a big Broadway fan, so like I kind of
Oh,
like
thank you, Taylor.
Yeah, so I feel like Emily and I are kind of the odd ones out here, but I would be okay with it.
I feel like I'm more neutral ground right now, only because, well, first of all, I didn't see West Side Story. I don't know why there was a need to make a remake, but that's a different problem that Rachel has nothing to do with, so that's separate from her.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen her in anything. So I probably will look up some interviews and some clips of her acting just to see. I feel like, you know, she fits the similar criteria as Aoi E as far as like the age, the look, whatever. So I'm like, it's not way off. Like it's not crazy. Like it's not they just like pulled out some really, really random person. If it is in fact her. And also like I'm still trying really hard to like withhold any real opinions forming until we get confirmation. Because right now, like it seems very likely, but it could still be neither of these two actresses we've been talking about. So I'm like,
if she's trolling with
It
that
would be really
tweet,
weird.
I'm gonna be really annoyed.
no, I agree. Like I think, I mean, as the day has been progressing and fans have been discovering more and more little clues here and there, or like, you know, like what we do, which is check their following list and see that sort of thing. I'm like, it really does seem to be leaning this way, especially like the Hunger Games Twitter account, like the official Twitter account follows her on Twitter. And I feel like that would be really weird if she wasn't involved in it.
I feel like they
somehow.
could have followed her. I mean, you know, it's just like these people running the people running the social media are not like high up or anything. They could have just followed her when she posted something about reading Ballad.
That's true. That is true. I didn't think about that. But I mean, regardless, like there's a bunch of little pieces that feel just as substantial as the pieces of evidence that I
right,
felt that,
yeah.
you know, were supporting Aoi E. So it's like right now they both seem to be like equally possible. Which like I don't, like I said, I have a more of a neutral stance on Rachel, but I did get a little too attached to my theory of Aoi E now that I'm like, wait, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, it backfired a little bit.
Yeah.
In that sense. And that's also because I have seen Moana and I am more familiar with Aoi than Rachel. So like maybe that's also what's swaying me. But I don't know, like in general, like with Snow, like with everything, like I'm waiting to see. Like, I mean, I'm excited about Tom Blythe, but, you know, we still don't even know what he'll look like in the film. You know, we only have one real example of his acting, which is, like, Billy the Kid. That's not, like a wide selection of content to judge his acting from. I don't know if that makes sense. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm just, like, I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay open-minded, trying to be, like, you know, whatever. Either way, it's going to be cool.
I think for
So
me,
we'll see.
I'm like really turned off just because of Nina's tweet where she said they were looking for a Rachel Zegler type, and like
That is weird.
that's just like.
But that wasn't a tweet from Nina.
But I just
Wait,
mean
what
it's weird
was it?
to say that and then cast her. Like
It
if
wasn't
you're
a
looking
tweet
for
from
the
Nina?
type.
That was from what is that one celebrity gossip Instagram?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's French.
Oh, I thought it was a
Different
tweet from
name.
Nina.
Yeah, so somebody had like submitted that they had heard that there was a rumor they were looking for a Rachel Zegler type, but maybe that got lost in translation and it was just that it was Rachel Zegler. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Possible.
I thought Nina tweeted that. I was like, I don't like it just because that's weird. You're looking for a type, but it ends up being that actress.
My idea when we first heard that was that maybe they had reached out to her and like offered her the role or like knew that they wanted her, but then she was busy. And then so it was kind of like, okay, we're looking for someone like her. But
Yeah.
I feel like the filming thing, because people have brought up that she's filming Snow White, right? Through like July. But if they're doing capital scenes, like she doesn't have to necessarily be there for the beginning of filming because there's going to be a lot with Snow in the capital and the other cast members without Lucy Gray,
Yeah.
especially if they're
She
filming
doesn't
till
show up.
November.
Yeah. If they're filming a bunch of like capital stuff, Lucy Gray doesn't actually show up until like relatively later in the book. It's not like in Hunger Games where we meet Peeta like immediately, for example, right? Which I feel like is the equivalent valid.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Unfortunately, I'm kidding.
It's gonna be fine, Holly. If it is her, it's gonna be okay. She's gonna do great. You know,
I think
watch me like not have that same energy had it been Timothée Chalamet. I'd have been like, this is cursed.
And I mean, I hate to say it, but for me, it's like I never really had like a Lucy Gray actor. Like, there's not one actress that I'm like, oh, this would be her. But I just
that's how I felt.
I just tell Ali.
Yeah,
I know exactly. But like with Rachel, I'm like, I just don't see her. And maybe that's again because I haven't really seen any of her work. But I'm like, that's just not how. Like, I think it was Emily and I maybe that talked about how we don't really see like a face when we're reading. You like have a picture of like who the person is. Like you can see like generically like who they are. And I just don't get the same vibe from Rachel as Lucy Gray. So I don't know. I think that's why I'm having like a harder time accepting it. I don't know.
Like in my mind, like yeah, I'm like you where like for the longest time I didn't have anyone specific, but I always had the impression that Lucy Gray would have kind of like it could go into two different directions for me. Either it's like very cute, pretty, or like weird pretty, if that makes sense. And I don't mean weird like in a bad way, I just mean like unusual features or like just something a little bit different that's not like the classically beautiful like Hollywood thing.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, me too.
And I feel like Ali E is like she's like the cute pretty genre, if that makes sense of that. And then Rachel has like her bone structure. We're getting really like analytical here.
Oh, I get it though. This is like my state of mind now too.
That was my comment when I said in the chat sort of impulsively that she reminds me of a bird. Like to me she looks like a bird. I don't mean that in a bad way. I just feel like it's fitting for the type of energy that I feel Lucy Gray has, which is kind of flighty and aloof. And something about the way Rachel looks like matches that. I don't know how to explain it really.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I mean, you know, I can see her in some colorful dress and flowers in her hair or something. Like it's not a huge leap for me in that way to visualize it, I guess. But we'll just have to see.
They better announce it tomorrow. I don't.
Very
I'm salty that it wasn't today.
Day vibes.
Maybe just because it was a holiday.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I had
saw
a
Lionsgate
dream.
post some like military related stuff, so
Yeah.
on Instagram. So maybe.
I'm happy with either. I'm just like feeling anxious and like frustrated. I just want to know. I want them to announce it. I'm tired of like this cryptic stuff.
Especially
we
the
have like
tweet.
yeah. That to me reminds me of the way Imagine Dragons promotes new albums. Like they they make fans jump through hoops, solve riddles and codes, and it's not just like, you know, like surface level, like there's only one layer thing. Like there was when they were promoting, sorry, this is a tangent, but when they were promoting Origins a few years ago, they made us like find 6 passwords in 6 days.
Oh my
and
god.
like the first password was like ancient Greek that we had to like enter in with like Greek alphabet. And then like the 5th or 6th password was like the computer coding like script for the gorilla emoji. Like they went in, you know. And so like the weird tweet that she posted with the Lucy Gray letters, it just gave me those vibes, and I'm like, I'm ready to solve some riddles if that's how we get this information. Like, bring it.
But it just like off of Imagine Dragons, it reminds me of like Taylor Swift too. Because that fandom is like, okay, if we're looking at this Monday, but then we go back to 2002 on a Tuesday, like it's just like psychotic. And so I
Yeah.
feel like with Imagine Dragons, there's an answer, but a lot of times people will be like, there is a new Taylor Swift album dropping like 5
Right.
years, 2 minutes from now, and here's how I know. And I feel like we're at that point where we're losing our minds.
Yeah, but it's like fun. Oh, it's part of like the fandom
Yeah.
culture, right? Whereas
Yeah,
like
that's
for
the
us, we're
chase.
sitting here and it's like come on, like we're already frustrated with the lack of marketing around this, and then it's like now we're over here solving riddles that we don't even know if we're being trolled and like being made fun of. Like I
It's
I
like
don't
the
know.
only leads that we have, and so we're just like basing everything on that. I will say this though, as soon as we do get the Lucy Gray cast, no matter who she is, I'm going to be cross-referencing their following list on like every social media platform to find our Sejanus. Like I don't care.
AJ, get to work.
I'm trying.
I still think that if it's not Ali'i, that they must have like she must have gotten far in like the casting process or like been the runner-up or
Yeah.
something, because the fact that Nina follows her and like she was following Tom, like I'm still convinced that that's where the connection was
Means
made.
something. Yeah, and that she liked Tom's like snow casting post
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah. Also, it seems like they're both kind of active on each other's pages. I haven't had enough time yet to really like fully inspect Rachel's social media yet, but I haven't like. I could also understand why they're like anxious to tell us, because we're over here being like, yeah, I'm gonna analyze your social media activity for the last 3 years to see if I can find something that means maybe something. They're like, yo, these fans are crazy.
I'm still
yeah.
over here convinced that it's Ali'i.
Me
I
too.
don't believe
care.
that it's Rachel Zegler.
They're gonna be like confirmed, like the Hunger Games, Lionsgate. Everyone's gonna be like, it's Rachel. I'm like, nah, this is a misdirection, y'all. Like,
yeah,
they're doing this, and then we're gonna actually go see Ballad in theaters, and it's actually gonna be Ali.
Until we're proven wrong, I think we're right. So,
Facts. I think that's reasonable, right?
Some cases.
Okay,
Y'all,
well,
I have so many photos.
yeah, I need to see all the photos. So please don't be scared to spam us with photos. But yeah, any other thoughts about Rachel or any casting things you want to talk about, or
Before I go, does anyone have anything to say before me?
no, Tina?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me take the freaking stage and belt out.
Yes.
No. But there was controversy when Jennifer Lawrence was cast as Katniss at first, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because people were expecting her to be I guess a person of color, and she wasn't. Was that it? And then in the end, everyone welcomed her with open arms, and she just became perfect. So I hope this is, whatever happens, I hope this is the same case where we welcome her with open arms and I don't strangle her.
Tina? Your nap helped.
With that,
You know,
I
like
love
me in the
how,
back
like,
of the
low-
theater. What?
No, I was just gonna say I love how like low the bar is. Like I just hope I don't have to strangle her. Like what?
it's like you're convincing yourself.
I just hope that I'm not in the back of the theater cheering Snow as he chases her with the gun.
Oh my gosh. And now just watch her be cast and then us all watching it
despite you,
together for
Tina.
the first time and you crying at her performance. Just like absolutely blown away.
I will love that. Living for that.
I take it
Holly.
back.
Holly, you used to hate the ballad book at first, right?
True.
Yeah. That's why I'm still like over here in neutral land, because I'm like I don't have any like preconceived notions of her, and I feel like that's how I want to keep it, if like until we know at least for sure, and then I'll do like try to see
Yeah.
what she's been in or something. But yeah, also I'm like Lucy Gray is not my favorite character in Ballad. Potentially hot take, I don't know. So
Me
like I'm not
too.
as invested as like the Snow casting was
I
really
love
important
her.
for me. I know, and that's fine. But it's not like the person I'm like most excited to see, so I'm like not as like it's not as life or death for me. I feel like had it been like Timothy Chalamet, I'd have been like really upset.
Yeah, I don't really care that much about Lucy Gray. I don't really get her. I don't really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't vibe with her. So if I don't like who the casting is, like I don't know, it's just gonna continue on from my feelings from the book. So
Lucy
whatever.
Gray hate club. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god. Kick me out. Yeah, I guess in the end, like, I don't know. I wasn't like I was too young, I feel like, to judge the original casting. Like I joined the fandom like right as the actors were like I think being announced or had just been announced, so I never really judged them. And I was also like 11, so but I think for me now it's like in the end I'm gonna be happy with what they give us because I trust Francis, I trust Nina, I trust Lionsgate. Like they know what they're doing, so in the end I'm sure I'll love her.
And Suzanne. Suzanne still has
Yeah.
a say in everything.
I don't trust her as much.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny, you're not the first person I've like met that like says that. Like my friend Lily was like, I don't trust Suzanne. I'm like, what? She wrote all
Ever
of
since
this.
reading the script, the first part of the script,
She was okay with ripping out Madge, like
Yeah, I'm
so.
like-
I don't know.
part of me just kind of goes, she cares about her books, check, but I also don't think she cares too much about the movies. So I don't know. I'll trust
Not
France.
sure about that.
But yes, so I'm sure it'll be okay. Maybe we'll have an announcement next week to talk about. I think I'm just frustrated too. I think after reflecting on our conversation, just having it be a theory, like Emily said, I'm just like done with the games, guys.
Done being a piece in their games.
Lionsgate, listen up.
Yes. But before we go, we have to announce that Jerry and Chase have had perfect attendance to every single tribute talk. However, as you all noticed, Chase is not here tonight. So Jerry is actually the king of tribute talk because he has a perfect attendance record. So congratulations.
No, Jerry has always been the king because Chase missed once before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You just
Oh.
came and got your crown again. Sit on your throne.
I barely contribute, but it's thank you.
So yeah, otherwise, Taylor, Chase, and Emily and I have our Survivor Hunger Games episode out. It came out yesterday. So check it out. It was fun. And any other announcements for our other accounts or anyone have anything? Okay. Well,
I had McDonald's Sprite today, but other than
oh
that,
yes,
Let's
Tina
go.
did.
Let's go.
Oh yes.
let's go, let's go.
Oh, also, wait, you reminded me. Nerd gummy clusters were apparently a kick in North Carolina. So go off,
Oh my
me and Taylor.
god.
They
We're
were pretty good.
The Nerds Gummy Cluster fan club.
Oh
Woohoo!
my god.
Shout out Taylor for securing the bag.
Awesome.
Literally.
Yes. So
I don't know if I'll ever find those again, but I went to
Ooh.
the store and they weren't there.
exactly.
Yeah, I didn't realize they had them in blue until I went to the store, and that's the only ones they had. So there's two different kind to look for. There's the red ones,
Oh.
and,
Yes. The berry.
and they
God.
taste pretty similar to me anyway. So there's not much difference between them.
Wow.
Tina. Wow.
No, because
Notes.
I know because I've seen two kinds, one big bag, one small snack pack, but I haven't seen any blue ones. So that's like a new challenge.
After you've tried all your Nitro Pepsis, be sure to
know.
go find your
Yo,
Nerd cluster.
yo, Jerry's gonna hop on the Nitro bandwagon, so you gotta let us know, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I couldn't find anything at the gas station.
Go to-
I
go to
tried look
Target.
for it. Target's like 40 minutes away
Oh, what?
What?
from Target.
Oh,
When
Yeah,
I went
Walmart
to
has it.
Charlotte, there was like the biggest Target I've ever been in my life.
Whoa.
It was so cool. We don't have any Targets like that here. I don't know what it was, but
I'll just end up like
Yep.
mailing a Nitro Pepsi to Jerry, and then it'll get there and it would have exploded inside the box.
yeah.
There you go. But yes, I'm glad it made my night to see that you tried them and you enjoyed them, Emily and AJ. So, and Laura too.
yeah, shout out to Taylor for bringing those, for baking us cheese buns, for
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what?
bringing folding chairs for the movie. Like she was so
Fully
prepared,
taking care
Yo.
of us.
right?
Taylor is a goddess.
Carbon monoxide.
Oh right,
Oh,
forgot
yeah,
about that.
Carbon- Taylor, you are amazing. I'm obsessed with you. You are
I'm
the
such a
queen.
mom. I feel like
It's the teacher in you.
Yeah,
But yes,
yes,
so
always got to be prepared for any situation.
I love
Hey, it was very much appreciated. So
You're the mom Katniss wanted.
even
never had.
Taylor, when we went to bed at like 2 a.m, and you were like, AJ, if you get hungry during the night, I have snacks in this bag. Like, help yourself. And I was like, it's Taylor.
Wait, that's
Man.
I got to take care of my people, everybody that comes with me.
oh, I miss you
Aw.
guys.
I'm like looking at the photos right now. I'm like, don't look too long. Don't linger. Roll your eyes.
Oh,
I just opened up a fresh pack of Nerds Gummy Clusters, so
yes, Taylor.
Made me
Open a
crave
cold
them.
one for the boys.
Aw. Okay, well, sweet. Everyone, go get some Nerd Gummy Clusters. Go get some Nitro Pepsi, and we'll see you here next week.